All right. What is happening? I apologize for my crazy hair. It looks like wind hit me from the side, and I was just like, but I just got home on that. Everything is just all over the place. I'm just getting settled back in.
Well, nice. Let's say hi to some people. We got
Just
Christabel from Washington, D.C., and Gina. Hello. Welcome. Ritu. Amazing. One of our coaches here. Ingrid from Cape Town. By the way, I will be coming to visit Cape Town next year, which I'm very excited about. And we have Linda Hartley. Rondia. Nice. Mika. Awesome. Welcome, everybody.
guys, a bunch more flying in now.
T, Megan, Okan, Jeanette. Beautiful. People from all over the world today.
Yeah. If you guys also want to say if you're in any programs, what program you're in, so we kind of get a sense of the lay of the land. You know, are you in MMI? Are you doing Primary Abundance, meditations? Are you in any of the Awareness Academy work?
Level 1, 2, 3, 4
things.
coaches.
We're expanding, baby. Nigeria, love it.
Woo.
Let's go. All right, everybody. So,
and if this is, by the way, if this is your first time with us, let us know that too, because it's always great to meet people who are brand new.
Yeah. So Elon and I are just coming back from finishing our second round of a 2-year program, which kind of is like a mystery school, meaning it's a school of arts in the arts of healing, energy, and awareness work. Very, very deep, expansive work. So we're just coming off of the completion of our second round through. Very, very powerful. So we might have some interesting streams and energy coming through because we're just, full right now on all that energy. Having said that, we would love to just get a little bit of a sense of what's in the room, like what's alive for you right now. And it could be not just things that you have challenges with or find challenging, but like just what's alive and real in your life right now. Are you in a feeling like things are really flowy right now, or things really challenging, or relationships, you're finding them challenging, or is your personal relationship challenging? Just so we get kind of a sense of what's here today. And well, I think we'll do 2 things today, just to give you a little bit of lay of the land. These calls have been shifting over this last month because our business has been shifting a lot over this last month in a very positive way. And so these calls are more and more my desire, maybe Elon would say differently, is to support you guys who are in programs in continuing and deepening the work, essentially. So as you're doing the work, the inevitability of doing this kind of work is hitting walls with it, right? Just like any other state of mastery, if you're going to play the guitar, it's like eventually there's only so much you could learn on your own. You feel challenged, you feel a plateau. And Elon and I have been dealing with, powerfully, hopefully, those walls for 20 years now. And so as far as we're concerned, everyone's spiritual path and purpose more or less is the same. Like, we don't know your life's purpose. I don't mean that. But at its core, my belief, and you just check in with yourself if this feels true for you. And if it's not, that's okay too. My core belief is that human beings inherently want to feel safe, want to have very, very deep connections with themselves and other people. They want to be compassionate toward themselves and others if they can. They want to experience well-being within themselves, and they want to experience like their self-expression and power in this world. If you guys want to add anything to that, please do in the chat box. Like, hey, here's what I want for my life. But as like an overall foundational place that we all want to express our life from, in my experience from working with people for 20 years, if there was like anything that we could say, hey, look, like you're going to do this work, this is the foundation you'll live your life from. And I was like, do you want safety, connection, full self-expression? Would you want those things as a foundation from where you live your life? I assert most people would probably say yes to that. And so, right, what's in the way for most people in experiencing that is all the conditioning, right? All the conditioning that you've been given, the inner judgments that you have of yourself, the judgments you have of this world, judgments of what you think is possible. And so, of course, when you're investigating life through the lens of personal and self-realization practices, personal development practices, spiritual, energetic awareness practices, you, in a weird way, not in a weird way, but in a way, you have to face your own conditioning. And a lot of the conditioning that all of us have, me and Elon included, we're not, somehow magically got out of this thing, is like the fear and the terror that seems to be innately in every human being right now on the planet. And it's like going into those dark crevices and facing those things in an empowered way through the teachings that we bring through here is what enables people to experience significant transformation and end up on the other side of these experiences with experiencing more safety, connection, love, compassion, all these things. Because really, it's not like you don't have those things within you. Those things are in abundance within every human being.
Yeah.
There's no lack of those things for any of us, right? There's like an infinite source of loving abundance that's available everywhere, pervasively, and all things. And so we want to ask ourselves, or at least get curious about, if I'm not experiencing this aspect of myself, this truth about myself, what's in the way? And again, you create your own ponderances about this, but for me, I say it's the conditioning. It's the mental constructs. It's the matrix, right? And so, like, in order to remove ourselves from that matrix of the mind, we have to become intimate with it. And the tendency for most of us is not to have intimacy with it or to even love or appreciate the role that it has played in our lives, where we stand in opposition of it. We abhor it. We don't want it. This is not me. This is not for me. I don't want this pain. I don't want this suffering. I don't want this, right? I don't want. And that pervasiveness of not wanting is ultimately what's keeping it in place. If you want to be the type of person that experiences freedom, love, self-expression, safety in your life, for better or for worse, you gotta face the parts of yourself that you end up avoiding. If you're unclear about what it is that you're avoiding, that makes sense, right? Like everybody has these little games we play with ourselves and we think everything's gonna be okay. You may want to look at where your judgment is towards others or towards the world, and you'll quickly see where it is that you actually judge yourself internally, and maybe you hide that judgment from your view. And actually that judgment occurs more like avoidance. Like a judgment and avoidance are very intimate cousins, right? That which we avoid is that which we internally judge sometimes, or there's just a harshness of like this critical judgment inside. So there's the mental construct, right, of all the things we think about. And what's even more important, and hi to everybody who's saying hello family, is really coming to this much deeper understanding that, yeah, we can bring a lot of awareness to why we think, how things were formed, why they were formed, where did the conditioning come from, why do we have this conditioning, what role does the conditioning play? And it plays a role, an important role in our spiritual evolution and development, without a doubt, in my opinion. Again, take it or leave it. Well, we want to really come into this greater understanding, thanks bro, into this greater understanding that it goes way deeper than that. And we got to get very, very crystallized in our understanding and our wisdom and our desire to deeply feel into this biomechanical suit that's really a multidimensional suit that we call the human body. Meaning to say that within you is a world of subtle energy that exists. And that subtle energy is absolutely, I could say after 4 years in my experience, I think Elon would agree, unequivocally what is driving and sourcing the quality of the life that you have. Yes, bro? Would you agree?
1,000,000%.
Yeah. So we want to get intimate with that. And it's not about going in there with a pickaxe and a shovel and tearing away at everything. It's actually quite the opposite. It's coming to in a really sensitive and gentle way with an open heart and open curiosity to just say, hey, I wonder what's under there. I wonder if today it would be okay to bring my awareness towards my body. And hopefully, as I say this, I'm actually transmitting it. And I hope that like follow this like a meditation, if you don't mind. So I want you to just for a moment, notice where you are in your awareness as you listen to me. Right? Where are you experiencing the world from? Where are you experiencing this thing that vibrates, seeming to vibrate out of me, that creates words and frequencies, and you're listening to it? And see for a moment if you can locate your awareness. Just play a game. Where am I aware from? It could be helpful to close your eyes and just take a deep breath and like ground your awareness within yourself. And I want you to realize a big truth, if I could say it that way, is that your awareness can be wherever you want it to be. And for the most part, in our experience, people haven't quite realized this yet, haven't come to this realization, and haven't gotten to the point of choice with their awareness. And so by default, when we are not aware of the location of our awareness seems to, and I think this is more conditioned than actual reality, seems to be located kind of in the center point of our head, somewhere behind the eyes, right? Kind of like behind that forehead. Now, this is distinct from your third eye or anything like that. That's not what we're talking about here, because third eye is more of like a portal of energy that's available in the body. I just want you to notice, where is my awareness? What's the quality of that awareness? Okay. And I want you to notice that awareness is distinct from thought. These are not the same things. And awareness is distinct from mind. These are not the same things. How do I know? Just pay attention. Notice that through your awareness, you can be aware of your mind. And through your awareness, you can be aware of the thoughts. And so that would not be possible if that's who you were and what the awareness was. So for a moment here, see if you can slip behind your thoughts, like kind of take a step back behind the thoughts. This is what we call a subtle awareness of thoughts, or a subtle awareness of mind. And you can do it a few ways. You can notice thoughts as in language. You can notice the energy frequency of thought, like a thought bubble that's being formed, like an energy frequency. And you can even notice the physical sensations of your mind. Like if you actually put awareness on the brain itself, you will very quickly start feeling muscle texture and movements of energy, which is going to feel like maybe heat or opening or closing within the mind. And I just want you to notice, I can keep naming stuff about our mind, and you will keep noticing things about the mind. Notice the exact point where the spinal cord meets the brain, like goes into the brain tissue, and see if you can find that exact point and maybe even the sensation that's there. And if you can't feel it, then visualize it. So notice how subtly aware you can become. I mean, you can keep playing this game. Notice the back of the eyeballs and choose to soften them. Soften the muscles that move the eyeballs. Find the part of your jaw that you keep tight and choose to loosen it. And notice as we bring awareness to that, it becomes very simple to relax this part of you as well. And that every time you pay attention to something, maybe behind that, notice what's the quality of my experience that changes as I bring my awareness to this aspect of myself. So now bringing the awareness down from the mind and just finding, well, before we go down, so again, we're just playing with awareness. What is this awareness? Where is it located? Oh, I'm not my thoughts. Oh, I'm not my mind. Oh, I'm not these sensations inside of my head. I can notice these things, certainly. But if I can witness them, then I am that which witnesses. I am none of those things. And Leona was asking a question about her life, 59, uprooted and this and that, and like this is not going to fix your life circumstances, but it's going to bring you out of the conditioning that's creating those life circumstances. We all have the life that we have. Again, take it or leave it with you, whether you attract this or believe this. We all have the life that we have based on the conditioning that we were given. And while it is certainly not your fault that you were given that conditioning based on religions and culture and family and ancestry and all the things that go into conditioning a human being, when you become aware of it, it's your responsibility whether or not you're going to do something about that. You can continue to live your life and produce the results that conditioning produces, or you can learn how to liberate yourself from that conditioning and see what other kind of results you can get when you're not living in that conditioning. It's really as simple as that. So let's bring the awareness to the space around the head. And as you bring, so if you're looking at me, if you're not clear on what I'm asking, if your conditioning is here, if your awareness is here, we call that local awareness. Local, as in localized. Okay. We also call this your ordinary mind, not very sexy, and your conditioned mind, not very sexy. So we want to start noticing what happens when we unlocalize our awareness. So if you want to look at the screen, if you're not aware, I'm unhooking from here and I'm bringing the awareness to the space around my head. And then I'm getting curious. So unhooking and bringing it here to the space around my head. And I want to notice if I start noticing that there's a qualitative shift. If there's a qualitative shift in my interpersonal experience, am I now suddenly experiencing the world or the quality of my awareness, or is my mind quieting down? Is my nervous system relaxing, even if it's very, very subtle? Just notice the timbre of your experience. What's the quality now of your experience? Is it shifting? Just by bringing your awareness just away from the conditioning of the mind. So just explore for a moment. And some people, by the way, find it very easy to find the spaciousness. Other people find it very difficult. It's not good or bad. It's not right or wrong. There are different ways that we orient and navigate in this world. And so some people find it very natural to have their awareness outside of their body. Some people actually find it very difficult and they actually want to put their awareness in their body. So if you feel like it's more challenging to come out, see what it's like to go in, like go deep into the body. And we're all gonna come to the body here in just a minute. So for you, it might feel really good to like go deep in and down, like going like really deep, like deeper than you imagine. It's like beyond the cellular tissue, beyond the physical nature of the body, like going into the awareness of the body, like the energetics and awareness that's there, just like deep, 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 deep. And if you can't feel it, again, visualize it. Like you're falling into like a black hole that seems to have no beginning, no end, and is infinite in nature. So just take a pause again, noticing the quality of your experience. And just a few of you guys, if you can open your eyes just for a moment, and just so I can get a little feedback from you in the chat box because I'm not with you, just what are you noticing? Even if it's the smallest little thing. Noticing by just shifting the location of awareness, what are you noticing in your experience? It's not important what I tell you, it's important what you're experiencing interpersonally. What are you noticing? Okay. Thank you, April. Sasha saying relaxing ease. Hey, Sasha, what's going on? April, thank you for the for the warm feedback. We appreciate that. Sandra saying she's feeling warmness. Christabel saying she has an issue that lies in the nerve of her inner knee that prevents her from walking. I sit here daily. Yeah, so it's something that maybe you want to really get intimate with, is like dropping your awareness into the knee. And this is different from watching the knee just suffer. It's just like almost removing the story about the nerve pain, whatever accident or accidents may have happened around this knee, if any, or whatever story you may have. It's fine if those are quote unquote true, but could we move those to the side and with a very gentle, curious awareness, just drop into the knee and just feel the sensation of the knee? What's the knee trying to communicate? Yeah. Rhonda is saying she feels tightness in her middle upper back. Kareem saying more space in my gut. Gina saying more spaciousness. Body is distressing was tight, right? Beautiful, guys. All wonderful things. And sometimes when you drop in, it's not going to feel more ease. You might feel, well, there's actually a lot more tension in there. It's not about that there's a right or a wrong way, or that there's something that this is supposed to particularly create for you. We are simply practicing to come into a right now moment awareness, and to not do that from the quality of mind that has created this condition. Because if we do it from there, you're basically just creating a loop in your limbic system, and you're going to end up in the same patterning, right? So if like Christabel with her knee looks from the point of view of the pain and the story around the pain, it will literally create more pain as she looks and more story, and there will be more trauma in her system. So we want to find this objective witness, and we want to understand that the power of awareness is that it doesn't belong anywhere in particular. You get to choose moment by moment where your awareness is located. If I point at the moon, and the 30 some odd people that are here right now as a cohort, everyone puts their awareness on the moon. If you don't mind doing that for just a second. I want you to see how quick all our awarenesses instantly are on the moon. By going to that consciousness that we call the moon, there is a certain energy there, a certain frequency and level of mind that we can tap into. And if we could learn to focus our awareness and sit there, the moon, and some words would begin to speak to us. Maybe not in language, but in energy and frequency, and its consciousness would start actually shifting our own nervous systems and energetic composition. We could actually learn from the moon. This shouldn't seem that crazy because pretty much every religion on planet Earth was formed this way. It's just tuning into systems, learning how to focus the mind, and recognizing that everything is conscious, everything is energy, and we are these open vessels that can take in information and data streams from everywhere and all time, if that's what we choose to do. And we're living these extremely small, suffering-filled lives because we've been led to believe that the only thing that exists is the area between our left and our right ear, which is perhaps the biggest war that's ever been perpetrated on a human being. So maybe closing your eyes again. And some of you guys have already kind of intuitively done this. And Jeanette's saying, yes, I want and I need more practice. We all do, by the way, with this. We are all basically up against thousands of years of human conditioning here that has been passed on for a very long time. And that's why what we're doing here as a community in general is what we keep doing is we keep glimpsing other qualities of mind. So you guys come to your own realization through your own awarenesses. It's not about what Elon and I have found or we believe. You can put that to the side. We're trying to use our own experience to guide you towards your own experiences. But ultimately, your awareness is the teacher. It's also the healer. It's the guru. Everything you've been looking for your entire life has sat inside of you like an owner's manual that you don't know how to access. We're gonna keep pointing at the owner's manual. So closing your eyes, finding the spaciousness around the head, or going deep into the body, and again, just start becoming slowly, gently, compassionately attuned to yourself, attuned to your system. Don't go in there and rip yourself apart. Where is that pain? Let me get it out of here. Like all that kind of stuff. Just attune to yourself and become the witness of yourself in the manner in which you would want a spouse or a partner or your children to look at you, if that makes any sense. You bring that level of attunement, that level of awareness and gentleness to your system. And then check out your body, check out the center channel where the spinal cord is, and you can check it out from the top of the throat all the way down to the root. And just slowly, gently, curiously noticing these subtle sensations that exist in all of us. And if maybe you're experiencing numbness and you don't feel anything, I would dive deep into the numbness. Numbness is not an absence of sensation. Numbness is the sensation. And again, noticing what it's like to come towards this energy. And I, look, you have a lot of layers. That's why we say you're multidimensional. You really are. You can notice the physical nature. Let's play with this for a second. We'll come towards the heart. And notice, and as you bring awareness towards the heart again, very gently, like if you're like intensely looking at the heart, soften the gaze. Like don't come in like a laser pointer at the heart. You want to come in like a soft, dispersed light. Attune to yourself. How does my heart want to be seen? How does my heart want to be attuned to from this awareness? Does it want to be poked and prodded? Does it want to have sharpness? I would say no. It likes the softness. So feel the physicality of your heart. Feel the beating of the heart, the thumps. And notice that you put awareness on there and suddenly you can feel what you weren't feeling just a moment before. There's the thump. There's the blood flow. There's the heat. Okay. Now let's go a level down. Notice the sensations of the heart. And the sensations might feel very different than the physicality. You may notice that at the front of the heart or the top of the heart, it feels tight, compressed, collapsed. And you might find that the back of the heart feels open, or maybe the whole heart feels squeezed. Again, get curious. What's actually going on at the level of sensation with my heart? And this is a really advanced exploration, but heck, why not? What's beyond the physicality and the sensation of the heart? What happens when we choose to dive deep into the heart? Again, like falling into an abyss that has no beginning, no space, no time. You just keep diving into your heart. And notice that you can experience this. Notice that you can experience not only what's diving into the heart, but you can also be the awareness that is experiencing the dive. So it's almost like if you were falling into a hole, you could also witness the dive as the hole. So you're the diver and also that which is being dived into. I don't know if dived is a word, dove into. And isn't that strange that you can experience both of those things? So noticing your own experience and then see if you can also feel the experience of the cohort that is here with you, even if you're on replay. It's all the same. For you, it's the ever present now as you listen to this. And the frequencies, the energies, the people, it's all the same. Doesn't matter when you listen to this. So feel, if you can, somehow, some way, everybody else is in this awareness now with you, in this field of energy. And what does it feel like if you get curious about connecting with them through this heart space? Udim says, I feel the love, I feel the support, I feel the healing, the energy being sent to my heart. Christabel said, for thyself, it's excitement to reach a different angle, if that makes sense. If anybody else wants to share what they're noticing, maybe open their eyes and maybe even look around a little bit. Also notice when you open the eyes that your experience changes because the eyes naturally the eyes naturally have an object awareness reality. And so it can actually pull you out of your experience of the wholeness and the oneness and the depth of your experience. And when you start seeing objects separate from you, that does elicit a certain response to what our awareness is aware of. So it's good to notice. It's why we meditate with eyes closed, generally speaking. So, yeah. Megan Steele says becoming one with the flow, rhythm, synchronicity. Rondia says tighter and like a shallow flutter. Not sure if it's afraid or eager. And that's beautiful, Rondia. So, like meeting that part with curiosity and gentleness, because maybe a part that has been afraid for a long time, when it gets witnessed, has been eagerly waiting for that connection from you. Because I want you to just imagine, what is it that you want as a child? What is it that you want deep inside of yourself? You really want deep connection. You really want to be seen. You want to be understood by people. I would assert that such as below, so is above. So if we look at it that way, when we meet a deep part within us that has the same exact desires as you do all the way up here at this level of consciousness, is you want to be deeply met and deeply understood. So note this, that the parts of you that quote unquote are traumatized are really just frozen parts in your system that have been waiting very patiently, very eagerly, and often in fear to be met by your awareness as a point of connection so that they can finally let go and release. This is how healing happens, by the way. That's why Elin and I always say we're not doing the healing. or guiding your awareness to a place where healing can occur. But your awareness is what's doing the healing. Your consciousness, your soul, it knows the pacing, the time, the order of everything. And so just to come to a part and say heal now is your conditioned mind saying that. The awareness does not work on that clock. It works on no clock at all. It works on whatever the timing is for your particular system. And the only way that Elon and I have ever seen healing occur is by liberating energy, which happens through meeting these parts and allowing for them to express themselves through subtle energy, sometimes through word or visuals, right, that comes into the mind. And as long as we continue to sit and allow and surrender to our experience, ultimately the body already knows what to do. It knows how to release the trauma that it's holding on to. It's been looking for an opportunity to do that in a specific environment where it feels safe enough to do that. The way that we develop the safety is by these self-to-self practices that a lot of you guys are now doing and meditating. That's exactly why you're doing it. You're developing the view. You're developing this objective witness. When we meet our system this way, this is where this healing can start occurring, and then we expand on those practices through safe connection with others and healing our attachment systems by sitting with other people and templating healthy nervous systems to our system. This is how our parts get the information and their needs met. And this is why healing can occur for people. So right now we're just playing this little game over here with ourselves to deepen our own practice. And it says she wants to sleep now. My head is bobbing forward. That's perfect. So notice the tiredness that's there, and just notice it from awareness. It's one thing to just allow the body to be tired. I'm all for you permissioning being tired, and notice it from awareness. And so again, somehow, some way, noticing your own experience, noticing everyone's experience as well. And as everyone begins to notice everyone else's experience, notice other people noticing you. Look how many layers we can add here, and it's not challenging. Look how multidimensional you can perceive and see. Notice the infinite nature of this awareness, how it doesn't matter what angle we take or what instruction we give, you can do it without any instruction. You just know how. Now, as you investigate more, these things get clearer over time with more access. And there's certainly certain pointers that we do, right? And when we do deep work in programs that people commit a lot more time to, that enables much richer, deeper access to these things. But I want to give you guys glimpses and tastes of different curiosities that you can be playing with. Even just coming to a realization that there is an awareness that you can move around, unlocalize, that there's a shift in my experience as I do that. These are major realizations that most people have not yet had, just so you guys know. So if you're doing this work right now, you are light years ahead of most people at this point in time, just by doing these little things, even if they seem very trivial. I also want you to see that doing spiritual work doesn't have to be hard. This is simple practices. Simple is good. Simple works. Elon's also transmitting very beautifully a lot of ground and a lot of heart. If you place some awareness on Elon's system very gently, you might pick up a few streams from him as well in your own awareness. It's a good way to train and teach yourself. So I'm going to ask you over the next minute to just kind of find an exit from your experience and then kind of come back more towards the screen as you're ready. And if you can just chat when you're ready in the chat box, if you can just write, I'm here or I'm ready. So I kind of know that you're coming out of the deeper experience, so we can kind of chat and give a little clarity over what we're doing and why we're doing it. Just let me know so I know when you're ready. I'll wait for like 5 or 7 more people to say they're ready.
I'll also, I want to show you guys something.
And you also, by the way, can you grant me admin access? I always like when I'm trying to move stuff on the screen, I accidentally hit back on my
Yeah.
pad, and then when I come back in, I don't have it. Thanks.
I want to show you guys something. I actually posted this on my story today, but let me see if I can find this where you can see it.
Right there. Right there.
Yeah. Okay. So the top graph this is all tracked through my Aura ring. So the top one here is heartbeat. So that's where it started. And so we started at about 68 beats per minute. This was my earlier meditation. I didn't track this one. But in 30-minute meditation, I went from 68 down to 54. So
BPM.
BPM, yeah, beats per minute. So that dropped. And the other thing is even more interesting. So this is heart rate variability. So when your heart rate is variable, it actually means that your body is in a healing, like a rest and digest state. So in a 30-minute, if like my baseline, and the numbers are relevant because each person has their own baseline, but my baseline is usually 27, 28, it looks like. And it fluctuated all the way from, call it 17, all the way up to like 45. So I just want to name that these meditations aren't just about feeling good or getting to a place that you feel relaxed or more at ease or whatever it might be. Like, as you learn these practices, and again, I've been meditating every single day for, I don't even know now, probably like 8, 9, 10 years, something like that. But in any event, like, as you do more of these practices, really what you're injecting into your being is the ability for the body to drop into states where it's actually healing itself. And so someone was talking about, just had surgery on their knee or this and that. Like, so your body's going through a healing, like a physical healing process. So whether it's physical healing or emotional healing, when our body is in that rest and digest state, it is naturally going into deeper and deeper states of healing. So whether it's a physical ailment, an emotional ailment, a mental ailment, whatever it is, like, if we can entrain our body to be able to drop into these states at least once a day, if not multiple times a day, like, think about how much better you're going to be in the body, which is going to then impact your mental landscape and your emotional landscape. And it creates the ability to be with that which is, and however it shows up. And people think of meditation as this thing of like calming down your mind or like quieting the mind. I'm telling you right now, like, I don't buy that. I also have worked with practitioners who have been meditating for 40, 50 years. Like, they relate to me that the mind is always there. This notion that meditation is the job is to get to that place of quiet mind, like, you might never get to quiet mind. What I would offer is, could you get to a place where you could just be in acceptance of exactly what is arising? And if what's arising is tired, then you allow tired. If it's what arising is anger, then you allow anger. If arising is sad, then you allow sad. Could you get to a place where you just allow the natural rhythm of whatever is arising to be here and not have the judgment, but just the awe of the witness? Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just kind of, do a little summary here, right? So first of all, understand that you can't understand. Let's just start with that. This work is not about understanding any particular thing, like a 3-step process that takes care of everything. That's utter nonsense. Okay, it's a really good marketing ploy. When it comes to like communication patterns and things about the mind, there are certain patterns that we can point to, that we could ask a series of questions that help unravel the pattern that the mind is creating. Fine. Okay. However, no two patterns are alike, right? Like there's no one way to walk and there's no one way to do anything. And we each are really these individual and unique fingerprints in our lives, and it requires not an SOP, like a standard of operations how to fix yourself. It requires you to being able to witness yourself in the pattern. And in the witnessing, it allows for our awareness to pick up on subtle cues that exist and for the body to naturally let go and release of what it's hanging on to, because that's ultimately what's happening. Like when you are in a pattern, right? And you guys all know this, like you have the same kind of relationships that show up. You have the same challenges with money. You have the same restrictions with your health. Like something's at play that is sourcing that repetition. It's not by chance that it's like, it just keeps showing up. Now, most people, like, highly untrained, I don't want to call them unaware, but like untrained people look out at the world and they go, this thing is happening to me. Okay, well, if this thing is happening to you, why is that thing over there happening totally different for that person? Right? We want to come to the understanding that our life, again, not your fault that you ended up here, and your responsibility when you recognize that you're here and that there is something that you can be doing about it to shift your state of being, which is another way of saying you're emitting a frequency. That frequency is being mirrored by your reality, this organic hologram we call it reality, which is really an organic mirror that literally mirrors back your own inner experience back to you in a simulation, right? And if I want the pictures on the simulation to change, then the source of that mirroring, which is my inner experience, needs to shift. And the only way that can happen is by these practices, by these self-realization awarenesses. Right? And this is nothing new. This is spirituality, for 6, 7, 10,000 years, 20,000 years, 100,000 years, I don't know. And we still live in a period of time where most of the human population is completely ignorant to the beauty and the tools that live within them. Right? We're all like trying to figure out who are we, what am I, this, that, the other. It's like, well, guess what? You know where that exists? You know where those answers are? You know where the owner's manual is? It's inside. It came inside of you. It came with the package. It was not left alone. The system is way too ingenious for that. A humpback whale doesn't ask itself what it is. It's just keenly aware of itself in a way that human beings have been conditioned out of. We're not separate from the animal kingdom. You notice that no other animal seems to be confused about their purpose on this planet, right? So that confusion is not nature. That confusion is our conditioned awareness. If we want to come back to our true nature, then it's not about finding true nature. It's about clearing everything that's in the way of true nature. Elon's been using this old metaphor that we have been using for many years that we learned. It's like when Michelangelo was creating the David, the statue, they asked him how he did it. He said, I just moved away everything that wasn't David. Right? He gets this big block of marble, and again, he's not chiseling it. He sees David in the rock, like it spoke to him as if he could see the statue. He moved away everything that wasn't that so that you can see what he knew was inside. That is spirituality. It's moving away everything that's not so that you can see what's inside, which is your true nature. And that's why if we keep living our life externally focused on our circumstances and then trying to rectify them through more action, the one thing that's not changing when you do that is the energy which is creating those actions. And if that energy doesn't change, then so your life does not change. You find yourself in kind of like different versions of the same thing. Let's call it that. It's like having Mexican food. You can go to a lot of different restaurants, but like the Mexican food is the Mexican food, or the Italian food is the Italian food. Like, what makes the food taste better or worse is the quality of the chef in the kitchen. But the ingredients are the fucking same. Right? But that chef that cares about those quality of those ingredients is going to make that quesadilla fucking taste amazing. Right? Or that pasta, right? You can go get store-bought. That's one quality, and you'll have your macaroni and cheese pasta. Or you can have the chef that really, really cares and sources like unbelievable, like, he knows the farmer. He knows how much care the farmer puts into the intention, and like takes that and like makes it into this sprouted, unbelievable pasta. And then like I had a pasta like that yesterday. It was like mind blowing to me. I'm like, what the fuck? Pasta can taste this good. Right? Same thing. You are the chef. Most chefs in this world don't care about the quality of the ingredients that they're putting into their body. In this sense, though, it's the quality of your awareness that changes the meal that you get at the end of the day. So we gotta come to awareness within our mind first. We gotta become aware of the projections of the mind that is elucidating you into believing that the problems that you have in your life are circumstances outside of yourself. That is the ultimate illusion that we're all, by the way, succumb to, because it is an alluring simulation.
Yeah.
Right? There is a lot here to pull you out into this external reality to stimulate you. But I want you to notice that most of the stimulation that people are after is avoiding what they feel inside. And so we slowly lose sense of ourselves as we live in this, I'm not judging it, I'm just saying it as it is, consumeristic capitalistic society that has been formed over the last 150 years, that has people moving further and further and further away from inside of themselves in deep connections and more and more into a physical dense reality that ultimately we all intuitively know is extremely unhealthy for us. And it's okay if we continue to choose to live in this reality, by the way. It's fine. If like you want a mansion and consumer goods and a Ferrari, I mean, like fucking God bless you. Go do it. Like truly, go get the life that you want. But do it from alignment. And I think for most people, they would find when they live a life of alignment, those things matter a lot less. Because the fulfillment that they're trying to get from acquiring those things has already been fulfilled. And so then if you want those things, you're not getting those things out of a need of fulfillment. Fulfillment is choosing those things. It's a very big difference. And then when you have those things around you, and let's say they went away or got lost, the upset would barely even hit you. That's a bonus to have that. It's not the reason to live. It's the whipped cream on the pie. It's not the pie. I hope that makes sense. So today was a glimpse, right? And I want to really tell you this again because it's so important that you guys understand this. Elon and I are not doing the healings. We're not doing your transformation. We're literally human beings like you. We happen to just spend a lot more time in very committed practices for 20 years. And there are people who are far surpass these two guys. Far surpass these two men. Right? We're reaching our hand back on the same journey that 8 billion human beings are on right now. And to the degree that we can, we're reaching our hand out and saying, come over here. And we're going to show you this, how to find this path, how to find this journey of self-realization, self-liberation. That's what we're up to here. So some of you guys are in MMI or wherever you are in the work or haven't done it. Like how many of you guys have not done MMI yet? If you haven't done MMI, I would start with that. That's Millionaire Mindset Immersion. Okay? Because that's going to give you the landscape of the mind. It's going to pull you out of the matrix. And until you've done that, it's going to be rough going. So I'm just going to tell you right now. It's going to be very, very tough to get out of the trauma that you're in. So if you want MMI, I'll happily share the link with you guys here. For those of you guys are in MMI and you haven't had a conversation with someone from our team, again, there's no pressure on you to do anything, to join anything in specific. Yeah, Christabel, I'll share with you MMI in a second. Or Elon, can you just drop the link in there? Just soulsandseekers.com/MMI.
Yeah.
I think you need to put HTTPS on it. MMI is a ridiculous value. I'll just say that up front. There's other opportunities in there to join other programs and to come to live events. I think those are no-brainers as well, but you get to determine that for yourself. And if you're like, hey, look, if what we're saying here resonates for you, you feel the deep truth of what we're saying, and not everyone's ready for this. I just want to say that. Okay, like really, not everyone's ready for this level of realization yet. You guys all remember the Matrix. Some minds are so dependent on the simulation, They are not ready to be unplugged. You get to feel into your system and make that determination. If you're here though, I would say that's not by coincidence. And I would say you probably are a person who's ready to take that next step. I will tell you that in our experience, no one gets there without being committed to the work on a regular basis. This is not a touch and go. We're not talking about just doing weekend retreats here. We're talking about putting you on the path for this stuff and saying, here are the practices that go into the hopefully every day of your, and they're not difficult practices, but you have to be committed to being consistent with them. And if you do that, you will experience and taste a part of life that I promise you 99.99% of the human population has yet to taste. They're all going to get there, but you can be an early adopter. I don't know what the timeline is for that, but nobody does, right? So if you haven't had a conversation with our team, this is why. You want to at least explore, hey, what does it look like to take that next step? I am a person who's feeling like I want to commit myself to this type of work. That would be a natural next step. And if you're still doing the MMI thing, or if you're already in MMI and you're realizing the pervasive nature of the work that we do here, have a conversation, because here's the thing. What you put into your future is what's pulling you in this present moment. Okay? Here's what I mean by that. Have you ever tried to like lose weight? It's really challenging, but then you're like, you're going on vacation to some like beach, Jamaica or whatever. Hawaii, like 3-4 months from now. What happens? The moment you buy the ticket, suddenly dieting is a little bit easier. You find yourself at the gym more. Before you know it, you've lost 10 pounds. Maybe you don't have a six-pack yet, but at least the top 2 abs are showing, and you feel more comfortable at the beach, right? There it is. You put something in your future that's impacting your present moment, and you get pulled into action. You get pulled into a new state of being. Maybe you go back to old habits when that's all over, but why did you go back into old habits? Because there's nothing in your future anymore. So even if you don't know what you want to do here, if anything at all, having a conversation can help you create what's in your future, and that future will pull you into your self-realization. We all get to make that choice, though, about what that ends up looking like and what kind of actions we take right now. And you got to ask yourself the question, okay, like I am where I am right now. We're all suffering. Like let's just be real. Okay, every human being is suffering. It's not that this world is suffering. We've made it into suffering. Our mind has made it into suffering. But if you know that you're ready for a different taste and a different path and to begin the process of unshackling yourself from that suffering, that's what we're here for. That's what Elon and I have been doing for 20 years now. And in that sense, have the conversation. So I just popped it up over there. You see a big book a call button over there. Book a call, have a conversation. Again, no pressure on you to do anything, but at least know what's available for you. And we can create a custom game plan for you about what that could look like into the future. And that's really that's what we're here for. We're here to help you guys come to a lot of these realizations that we have in the gentlest, most profound way that we can. And it's up to each individual on this planet to do their inner work. And if you all are here committed to a different future for this planet, as far as we're concerned, this is a very important puzzle piece for humanity to shift into a very compassionate place, into the age of love, if you want to call it that. And that has to start with each and every one of us finding and learning how to be compassionate with every part of ourselves, every aspect of ourselves. And then compassion just easily overflows from that cup out to other people's experiences, out to how we view the world, out to having the matrix of this reality, that it's organic hologram, give you and express compassionate experiences towards you. But again, it comes from the source, the deep well within you. That's what this work is about. Okay, so MMI is a great place to get started. Our advanced work down the line, if that's what you so choose. I hope you guys got a lot of value from today's webinar. I know Elon didn't talk much for whatever reason. That was just streaming through to share today, so that felt important. We love you guys. If you're watching this on replay, all the same things pertain to you. Thank you for being part of this incredible community. Please, to the level that you're open for support, let us help you with these practices and with this community and getting support from other people. Okay, we love you lots. We'll see you next time.
Everybody.
Bye.